Okay, I'm back. Had to take a little break quick. So, let me tell you now about some other areas of the site that we can also do search engine optimization. And a lot of people forget about this, and when they miss out on a lot of different search opportunities. So here's where we can start. So we can start with our media. So when we go into our image here, you can see that the image has information. So it has a name and alt text. Now, alt text is important for two things. One is search engine optimization, but also for screen readers, so that the screen readers for people who are blind or impaired can listen and understand what the picture is. And so here's another good example of a good, you have to put something very descriptive in here. This information should be concise and very descriptive. And so, 3D printed, multi, let's see, multicolored 8-piece measuring cup and spoon set in neutral tones. All right, see, that's very descriptive uh, of this product right here and what it is in neutral tones on kitchen counter and cutting board. So I'm trying to describe the scene to the customer and also the search engines. So if somebody's looking for a picture or looking for something like this, and they're looking for like a neutral colored or multicolored or whatever, they're gonna find a lot of images like this, and we want our image to be part of it. But the name here, so if you're looking at Pinterest and there's a picture, the name is super important because like it's going to be like what it is. And so we don't want the name to be that, this of the image, which is the image as it was created. And so this I want to be um, something similar here. Eight piece measuring cup and spoon set. There we go. And so I want the name of the image itself to be descriptive of this product. And then I would almost always put something like the pipe here and form and fold, the name of my brand, so that they know like what it is now. So that's a great way. Actually, I don't want the pipe there. I want that just a dash. I'm going to put a dash in there because it looks better on an image title. And so, anyways, this is the way that we want to edit our meta information on an image, and that's also going to be great because it's going to give us an opportunity to show up in more search engines like Pinterest, or if somebody shares it onto Facebook, it'll have the information on there, and then it's also searchable. And so, we want to always put our best foot forward. A lot of companies don't spend the time doing this that they should, and they aren't investing into their searchability of their products, and so therefore they don't show up highly on the list. They don't find that their products are being found in image searches and so on and so forth. So this is just a really great uh, area that you need to do, but it's often overlooked. So if you want to be better than everyone else, doing things like putting a better name in, putting a better alt text in on every picture is super important. And then lastly is I only have one picture here. Let's go to Amazon and use Amazon as an example. And here's our Farberware version. And as you can see, we have lots of pictures here of this product. Actually, this is not a very good. Let's see. This is not a very good set of pictures because it doesn't have any other information on it, which it could. Amazon generally has like 9 or 10 pictures available. Let's check out another product. Here, this one's maybe a better imagery product. And so you can see it's a 10-piece set, various sizes, and it has the labels in them. There's another picture, somebody using it, a lifestyle picture, giving a description, non-rust, durable, easy to hold, BPA free, accurately measured. All of that stuff's really important to customers. And these are great little images that say a lot in a very concise package. And so, yeah, how would it look on the kitchen? There, that looks nice. And they're color coded so that I don't have to read them always if I learn which color is which. And then even maybe a video, which these guys don't have, but you might even add a little video. The same can be true on your products here. You really need to add a number of pictures, and the more the better, and the more unique the better. So if I was to go here again and say, like, this picture here with this little bit of information on it, nice lifestyle picture, somebody using the products, this is a great picture, and it would be awesome to have this on your site and name it. And if I was going to put an alt description, I would describe it as measuring cups and spoons, 100% non-rust, durable, easy to hold, BPA free, and accurately measured. So you would add all of that information in to get that uh, SEO value for the picture. And otherwise, Google, AI, all of those are just not going to know what this is because it's really hard. If I was looking at this with even an AI reader, I might say, oh, this is a person making something in the kitchen. I don't know that it's talking about that this picture is actually talking about the measuring cups. I, as an AI, might be describing it just as without this stuff and without the meta description, might just be describing somebody cooking. And that's perfect. So, anyways, this is it. This is really important to get to as far as making sure that your whole page, your whole product is always optimized. The time you spent here pays dividends forever. Speed is important when you're doing this stuff, but actually doing it, getting it done is more important than just racing through and adding a ton of products. Because if you don't tell the search engines what they want to see, you are not going to show up. So, very important that we do this. For this exercise today, what I'm going to have you do is take 5 of your products and you should optimize them. And what I want you to do is take a screenshot before and a screenshot after of your changes. So you would take a screenshot of your meta information, your search engine listing before, and then do a search engine listing after you've optimized it. Feel free to use some of the AI, but also make sure that you're reading it and going, oh boy, I don't know if I like that. That doesn't make any sense. Then adjust it accordingly. So we're going to do that. Now we're going to look a little bit at analytics, and I'm going to use a client site here to show you some analytics. This is one of my clients, and they sell some outdoor items, and you can find the analytics down here on your menu. And what analytics does is it takes all the information that comes through your site, so everything from sales, are these returning customers, have the orders been fulfilled? It tells you about where the sessions, how many sessions you have on your site. It tells about the average order value. So that's very important too, because, if I'm selling 3D printed items, my average order value is going to be probably about, $40, $20, something like that. This store has an average order value of $300, which is pretty cool because that's bigger products. It's going to tell you where the different devices are, where the locations of people are, which, by the way, I don't know why, but there's a bot that's been crawling from Ireland lately, and it's just like popping up on different sites. And I know it's a bot. It's all comes from the same place, and it all comes on the same days. It's kind of crazy. And I think that's what happened here is we had this big spike of traffic, and that was all this Ireland traffic. This also tells you information about your cohorts, and a cohort is, returning purchase rates with customers and then grouped by month. Now, this client doesn't have a lot of returning customers. They sell big items. So customers don't buy often. They buy once a year. They may buy an accessory, things like that, but they're not buying these big items every month or every 2 months. If you're selling things that are more transactional or consumable, you would see that this would be much higher. And so that's really important when you look at your acquisition, which is the first time buyer, or retention, which is what you're measuring here, which is your cohort retention. How many times are people buying? And you can see here people in August, and then they bought again in month one after August. And that is probably because, and it has happened many times actually, and that's probably because they bought something, they came right back, bought an accessory. They realized that they needed something additional and they bought it from the site. This part down here, sessions by social referrer, sessions by referrer. Social referrer is broken out now because there's so many searchable options and places that people are finding your products and sharing your products. It's super important to understand that like these guys are getting a lot from YouTube, they're getting some from Facebook, but not a lot from LinkedIn, Reddit, or Pinterest. I find that really interesting that they're not getting as much from Pinterest, because they do have some products that appear really cool on Pinterest. So for analytics, there's not a really big assignment today because you're not going to have any analytics really. It's just you on your site. And so this is just to inform you of like where you're going to go to look at your analytics. Once you are out there in the job, you're going to really focus on the analytics. You want to learn where your customer's coming from, what they're purchasing, why they're purchasing it, which pages they're viewing, and so on and so forth. So, analytics is ultimately the place that will tell you if your marketing and your search engine optimization and all of your, like your products that you're buying, it's going to tell you where you're successful and where you're not. And if you just base your information or your buying information, like I'm going to put these new products on the site, if you base that completely off of just what you like, you'll find that you'll end up with a lot of products that you like, but other people may not like, or they may be overpriced, or they may be not the right color, or they may be because it's personal preference. So it's really important that you use your analytics to make decisions on what you're buying and what you're putting on your site. And then also, if you find something that is working, maybe you're going to go and do more of that. So that's it for this week. I want you to optimize those products and check out the analytics.